Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope you're having a wonderful January 9th, 2025. The playoffs are here.
Hey.
I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm very excited, man. As if you're a football fan, what a glorious start to the year. We're about to have 5 straight days of playoff football of both the college and NFL varietals. Woo! This is Snaps, a college football podcast, so we will break down the college side of things. Also, we've got some stories that are coming out of the games, flus and injuries and jabs at press conference and all sort of stuff to break down on today's show. I am TBob Abear. He is our QB1, Aaron Murray. Aaron, what's up, brother? What's going on, man?
Everyone doing well. Hope that everyone's doing well. If for those that are affected by the wildfires in LA or know anyone, praying for them. Just awful stuff, man. Awful stuff. And then also everyone preparing for this winter storm. If you are in the Southeast, bundle up tight. Just got the messages from both my kids' schools. School's officially canceled for tomorrow. And here we go.
God, I'm so jealous of them getting to experience an actual snow day. I mean, with me growing up kind of an hour north of Atlanta, I feel like we generally got like 1 or 2 a year where there would be a freeze or enough snow where we get to go play outside. I don't think I've ever had a single one since I've been living back in Louisiana. I think maybe once in college we might have had one, but like, yeah, my kids still have no idea what snow feels like, looks like, tastes like, and they desperately want it. So send a little bit our way, Dallas, Georgia, if you will. And yes, on the California front, my mom, my sisters live out there. They're all fine. Everybody's safe, but it is just fucking insane, man. I mean, so many people are losing everything. And it's weird when you think about fires because you feel like in our modern day and age that would be something that you're kind of beyond, right? Like you hear like, oh, yeah, it's like the old San Francisco fire of like 1908 or whenever it was. And you're like, oh my God, something that could never happen again. And now you're experiencing something far worse. So here's to hoping that everybody out there first stays safe. And secondly, I just hope that you don't lose everything. Obviously, it's really, really awful. But as we talk about the impossible pivot, a lot of times we love sports because they're an escape from very real problems and they can be very fun distractions. And so we will do our best as we do every single day to provide you with said escape and have fun.
Let me pivot to this question real quick about football as we get into it. This is bigger picture, like playoff talk. And I just thought of this now as you look at the final 4 teams in the playoffs, Penn State and Notre Dame tonight, tomorrow, Texas, Ohio State. And only 2 of those teams, if this was last year, would be playing in the final 4. And that would be Notre Dame and Texas. Instead, we've transitioned as a college football community and have gone to a 12-team playoff. And now we've worked our way to 2 more teams that would not have had an opportunity a year ago, now have an opportunity to possibly win a national championship over the next couple of weeks. Some people have said that the playoffs allow a team like, say, Ohio State, a blue blood, a great team, a great roster, to kind of screw up along the way and still find a way to win a championship, and that's just not right. Do you like the fact that these 4 teams are the 4 teams, or do you feel like you would have liked it if it was Oregon, Georgia, Notre Dame, Texas?
So
or do you like the way we got here?
I would. Okay, so I have a few thoughts on this. It is definitely undeniably different than how things were done in the past, right? Yeah. And it was one of the fascinating parts of when we were in college football is the margin of error was so thin that if you lost a game, you felt as if it was all up in flames. One loss was all, and generally you could maybe afford one, but it still felt like it was all over when you lost one game. And a lot of times it was if you lost one game. So I think this is another side effect of us dealing with a sport that we grew up with one way, and now in the manner of, a decade or half a decade has transformed into something that is completely new. So it's different. I don't think it's worse though. I'm okay with things being settled on the field. And I think ultimately that's what a tournament does. They
Yes.
played well enough in the regular season to make the tournament. Like that's now the goal. In the past, it was to make the final two or the final four. Now you can have a little more margin of error, but you have to make the tournament. But once you have to earn your way there, like if you're going to tell me that I should be more upset with Ohio State losing to Michigan than I am impressed by them beating the fuck out of Tennessee and beating the fuck out of an undefeated Big Ten champion Oregon, I'm going to tell you, I just hard disagree.
Yep.
I find that to be more impressive than I am more upset by maybe a mid-season wobble or even an end-of-the-season wobble.
I agree.
Case. And what's funny is I imagine a lot of people putting that out there either had their team not make the playoff or lose in the playoff.
Yeah.
Because like if you're mad that there's no conference champions here, well, guess what? The conference champions had their opportunities. Like they played in the tournament as well.
And they had advantages too. They got advantages. They got home field advantage, for two of the teams, for Oregon and for Georgia, or buys at least, excuse me, buys. I wish they had home field advantage. I wish we did add that second week of in-stadium games where we could have had, a playoff game in Eugene, a playoff game in Athens. I think that would have been really special for college football. And maybe they do that going forward, but at least you did have the extra week to prepare and not play. So like you were given an advantage, just like the NFL. The best team gets a bye, and you can make the most of it. Preparation, health, all that you need. But I don't know, like
honestly though, as much as everybody wants to. Sorry, Aaron, go ahead.
I know people feel like maybe the seasons doesn't mean as much or is not as exciting, and I'll continue to disagree with that. I thought this was the most exciting regular season of all time because more teams still were alive at 10 wins. Hell, it was exciting the last 2 weeks because we're talking about 9-win teams. And I know that sounds stupid. I know people are frustrated, like a 9-win team shouldn't make it, and I agree. But it still was a conversation that made it exciting down the stretch. So
how about this? It doesn't matter as much to a few teams, but it matters much more to many more teams. Like in the past, let's say, again, you lost the game early, so you were pretty much eliminated. Okay, well, the regular season didn't feel all that exciting. But if you were a team where it's Michigan, Ohio State, you're both undefeated, and you have to win this game in order to go to the Big Ten championship and then to go to a national championship, like a BCS type setting, right? That game would be the end all. It would mean everything in the world to those two fan bases, but everybody else is on the outside looking in.
Yep.
So at the tip top, yes, some of those matchups are going to mean less, but many more teams, many more fan bases, many more people are going to have games that mean more because it can get them in. And so I think that's a worthy trade-off.
And it isn't the goal of a season and obviously a playoff is to crown the best team in college football. And I think if we looked at the beginning of the season, we kind of pegged Ohio State as the best team in college football, the best roster. They spent the money. They went out there and got the best running back, the best safety, a top-tier quarterback. They already had a stocked roster as it was. And, we said, okay, it seems like it's Georgia, it's Ohio State. And the complaint is, oh, you give a blue blood, a talented team, so many opportunities to win. And it's not so many opportunities. It's just enough. They took advantage. They still got the 10-2. They beat a Penn State team, but the goal is still to reward the best team in college football. And if Ohio State ends up winning here through the playoffs and proving to us that they're the best team in college football, I don't care if they get one or two mulligans.
I'm sorry. There's no way if you win this tournament, there's no way that you're going to convince me that you're an unworthy champion.
Exactly. 100%.
Like it's just I don't know what to tell anybody. What is Oregon more worthy? Well,
I don't think it's rewarding more worthy. I think it's saying that they should not have been allowed to get there because of their losses in the season.
Which again, though, I think is a byproduct of an old system that is not in play anymore.
I agree.
And one that honestly, I mean, if you look at the old system, why would you ever schedule hard? Why not do it like Michigan did a couple of years ago, where you just play easy and you have no margin of error, but you don't play anybody, and then you go into the tournament. So it's like, and really you can frame a lot of the why play or don't play people argument any way you want. Because on one hand, there's all these people bitching about strength of schedule. Oh, it didn't matter in the selection process. It looks like we're never going to schedule anybody hard. I mean, Greg Byrne doing his whole gaslighting song and dance up there.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, you do have more margin of error. And so you can schedule harder if you want. And if you win those games, those could potentially propel you in an argument if it gets another team. So look, there's still a lot to figure out. It's not perfect, but to sit here and act like here at the end of the year, you would have an unsatisfactory champion because they didn't win their conference championship, but they lost a regular season game that upsets you, but they won this 12-team tournament full of the best teams.
Yep.
I think that is fucking crazy.
I agree.
Royal Paint says Greg Byrne was right. Well, okay, again, I don't think it's as black and white, the argument that why we schedule hard, because I think you've seen whether it's Texas beating Alabama last season, you've seen examples of teams using, or even like Georgia. Well, I guess Georgia wasn't in really get selected mode, but had they lost the SEC, they would have been in anyway because of how hard their schedule was. Like you see teams being rewarded for hard schedules, so I don't agree that hasn't happened. My problem with Greg Byrne's statement was he was like, well, we're not going to schedule any hard conference games. You didn't this year. You lost your conference games. Mm-hmm. So what are we talking about? That was my point with all that. And well, we all know that ended that story. In fact, I went on that SEC podcast and the guy SEC Mike yesterday and confronted him about Dick riding Texas. I mean, here he is, a Tennessee fan, only supposed to be one UT, but his loyalty to the conference is such that here he is championing Texas, trying to maintain some shred of SEC dominance. All right, so look, we got a lot to get to on today's show. I got a couple clips from media days at the Orange Bowl that I want to get into.
Wait. We're not going to talk about continuing the conversation from 2 days ago. I thought we wanted to kind of after a 24 hours, 40 hours, kind of go back to it, talk it over some more, clear minds, kind of figure things out.
Yeah, the game today.
No. But what we talked about 2 days ago.
About you ruining college football?
Yeah,
no,
I thought we wanted to read
the circular conversation that lasted for an hour and like World War I trench warfare. Neither side gained any ground. We just continued to launch artillery shells of the same argument.
I didn't know if you came to your senses and want to apologize. So I just wanted to make sure. But if not, we can move on.
I literally just thought in my head when you brought this up, it was because you came to your senses and wanted to apologize. Okay, then no. Okay. Then we have nothing to talk about.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
You know what we should talk about? Happy 13th anniversary to one of the worst days of my life. And by the way, guys, if you want to help us out, hit the like button, share the stream. If you enjoy it, share with your friends, enemies, everybody else. These are sub to the channel. These are very simple algorithmic ways in which you can please the computer gods that rule our existence. Aaron, do you know what happened 13 years ago on 1/9/2012?
1/9/2012. Did you lose a national championship to Alabama?
I did lose a national championship to Alabama. Very famously, in which Les Miles, after losing 21-0, not crossing the 50-yard line, refused to make any in-game adjustments. And my father, for those that don't know, Bobby Hebert, old Saints Falcons quarterback, Cajun Cannon, he's in the media. He's a radio man. So here's his question in the have you ever heard this, Aaron? I had never heard this before today. Here's his question in the post game. I knew of it, but I'd never. Here's his question in the post game to Les Miles.
Coach Miles, did you ever consider bringing in Jared Lee, considering that you weren't taking any chances down the field? Now, I know Alabama's defense is dominant, but come on, that's ridiculous. 5 first downs. So it's almost an approach, I'm going to tell you from the fans' standpoint, that how can you not maybe push the ball down the field and bring in a Jared Lee? So what if you get a pick 6? It seems like the game plan that you're not pushing the ball down the field, considering that it's like a Ruben Randall, Odell Beckham Jr. Now, I know the pass rusher of Alabama, but there's no reason why in 5 first downs. I mean, they're a great defense. LSU's a great defense, but that's ridiculous.
Do you have a question?
No, that's the question.
Okay.
Do you think you should have pushed the football more downfield? Coach Miles, did you ever
boy.
How about it?
Boy.
How about it?
Oh, my God. It's ridiculous.
So my old man, and I'm the same way in interviews, so,
God.
apple tree and whatnot, but my old man is notorious for long-winded questions. How about that? A question in which he analyzes and criticizes the entire game plan. And then old boy should be like, is there a question? Yeah, that is the question, motherfucker. Why didn't you try anything? Why didn't you do anything different?
Why did he not, though? I just don't get it.
Okay, so I will explain that, and we'll just spend about a minute.
Holy shit,
So-
just try. You're getting
What's
your
crazy
ass
about
whooped.
that question, the effect of that question out of my personal life was unbelievable, because due to the fact that I didn't play in that game, and then this question, after being a starter all year, the conspiracy theories went wild. I immediately started getting the calls the next day about what happened behind the scenes. Did I start a mutiny? Did I do this? Did I do that? And the stories got crazier. Nothing happened. Nobody believes me. Nothing happened. It's been one of the weirdest experiences of my life where, like, I know what the truth is, and everybody just calls me a liar when I tell them the truth. But here's what I think happened. Quite simply, Les Miles did what he thought was best. And if you look at the end of that season, remember Georgia in the SEC, or Aaron, in the SEC championship against y'all, we didn't even have a first down in the first half.
No.
Against Arkansas, it was a close game till the third quarter. Like, down the stretch, after we made the switch, our offense consistently struggled. But at one point in the game, Tyrann Mathieu would make a big play. We would take over. The running game would finally catch on, and we would end up dominating. That was all well and good when we were playing teams that maybe didn't have as much talent, but Alabama did have as much. And the other thing here is, all we did going into that national championship was practice the option, because that's all we had success with in game number one. Well, of course, Nick Saban's going to be prepared for that in game two. But the thing is, nobody stood to gain more than Les Miles for winning that championship. It would have been a second natty on his resume. It would have been his own with no Saban players. He would have got $1 million bonus. So there was nothing nefarious, nothing conspiratorial. He just quite simply fucked up.
He did.
He thought he could do what he did in all those other games where he just stayed the course, and eventually the boys broke through with no adjustments made.
Yep.
And you can't do that when you're going against Nick Saban with a team that is just as, if not more talented than you. I mean, we got lucky to win that first game in Tuscaloosa, and then we just tried to run it back with the one play that we had success with. So nothing conspiratorial, just especially with the benefit of hindsight. Right? I mean, it's Les Miles versus Nick Saban with a month to prepare.
I want to know this from Smash the Numbers. Did he lecture you like that when you were young?
Oh, yeah. And Cannon is a man of many words and many legends. And great
Farrington, what's up? Let's go Irish.
Hey, Paulie Walnut, former Snaps producer. What's up, bro? Let's go, dude. Playoff day. DJ Trauma Gaming said he spent $2,000. He got for Christmas in 2012. Him and his grandma, $2,000 spent for tickets. So many people spending thousands of dollars to watch their beloved undefeated Tigers in the Sugar Dome in New Orleans try to win a national championship, only to have the worst game ever in a natty. Absolutely brutal.
Speaking of tickets, do you expect sellouts for both these games, like packed stadiums?
Hey, is Austin Brooks is Brooks Austin the Film Guy Network YouTube account?
Yes.
Look at this motherfucker. TBob looked better with the D-bag haircut. Why, Brooks? Because it looked like your haircut? Because you're a little fuckboy fade boy as well? Why don't you go tell me how Pribula is going to be better than Dylan Raiola some more the day that he decommits? Get the fuck out of here. Oh, it's not Brooks. Never mind. All right. Well, I do love you.
It's Brooks. It is Brooks.
He says it's not. He says it's not.
It's one of his
it's one of his minions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to use the word minion, but I'll let you use it.
Actually, you know what? The damn Minions done won me over. I never
Minions?
Minions. I like the Minions. I did not like them at first.
What?
Did you like them from the drip? From the jump?
Loved them from the very start. From the drip. Aren't you fancy? You all hip now?
I don't know. Is that hip?
Drip? From the drip.
Minions. I would love to have Minions. I have Minions at my radio show. I don't have Minions here. Me and Aaron everything. Aaron edits and photoshops all the thumbnails,
Pics.
edit and upload the pod and the videos. We cobble together a shitty social media presence.
That's what we need. I just need someone to take over the social media. I
know.
hate social media so much.
I know. So do I.
I like sit down. I was like, you know what? I need to do like 2 or 3 TikToks, and I'm like, I really just don't fucking.
I don't want to just have no desire whatsoever.
No desire.
And it takes forever. My fat fingers. I'm like, oh fuck! I accidentally hit back and lost everything that I just typed up. Oh shit! After 10 minutes of editing this video, I accidentally hit back and it didn't save. Anyway, all right. Let's go ahead and get into some of today's drama. So the Orange Bowl press conferences were yesterday, and Aaron, James Franklin, big personality. We all know this. Well, he gave a couple of quotes that is kind of an interesting stage to put them on. And the first one had to do with him essentially hard launching Notre Dame into a conference talk, like back into the forefront. Here is, and by the way, if you're just listening on audio, James Franklin and Marcus Freeman are sitting directly next to each other during these press conferences. But James Franklin was asked about Notre Dame playing in a conference. Here's what he had to say.
I think it should be consistent across college football. I think, again, this is no knock at Coach or Notre Dame, but I think everybody should be in a conference. I think everybody should play a conference championship game, or no one should play a conference championship game. I think everybody should play the same number of conference games, but just the numbers are going to make things more challenging if you're playing one more conference game. So I just think things need to be consistent across college football. I think it should be consistent across college football. I think, again, this is no knock at.
So what do you?
I love it. I 100% agree. I think the SEC should play 9 games. I know there's a money issue and they want to, hold ESPN's feet to the fire to get some more money, but there's no reason why they should be playing 8 conference games while the Big Ten plays 9. They need to add a 9th game. And I'm with it too. Like, Notre Dame joined a damn conference already. I know you love your independence. I know you're getting money. You're fine. You feel good with the NBC contract, whatever it is. But we harped a lot on Tuesday about the health of college football and where it is and where it's going. And I know you're a big proponent of just equality of everything in life. I do think that there needs to be a little bit more equality in college football.
I agree. Do you think that Marcus Freeman looks like he's feeling a little competitive as Franklin is talking about this, maybe feeling some type of way a little bit like, okay, hold on now. I get what you're intimating. You're saying we didn't play in a conference. We didn't play in a conference championship. Our season was less hard than your is. Like, I don't want to read. I think it'd be almost impossible for Freeman to not feel some of that. No?
Yeah, but they get this every year. I mean, I think they're just so numb to it at this point. I think they just don't care. Like, their mindset is, until we are punished for not participating in a conference, like, say all you want, say all you want. We don't care. We're still getting our money. We're in the playoffs. We're in the Final Four. Yeah, guess what? We can't get a bye like that. That there's instead of us being able to play in a conference championship to earn a bye, we just can't get one. But I'm not saying I agree with it. Once again, like, I'm in the belief that, like, I agree with Franklin here. Equality across the board for college football is the best answer to all of this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a better product at the end of the day if everybody's playing 9 conference games.
Yes.
It makes sense for everybody to either play or don't play a conference championship, but Notre Dame will never give up their individuals. And I don't know.
Not
in an interesting way.
Not unless the Big
football
Ten
would ever come together. Well, I was going to say, do you think that I'm not going to do what you do and just talk about the Big Ten and the SC? Do you think the Power Four would ever come together and demand that Notre Dame do so, or is Notre Dame such a brand that they wouldn't have that fight?
I think they could fight it. I 100% think that if the SEC and Big Ten came together and said, you know what, Notre Dame, we're rescheduling, we're refiguring out and tooling this new playoff come 2026. This is the plan. This is what we're moving forward with. If you want to be a part of it, you need to join the Big Ten or you need to join the ACC and just hardball them. Who's more powerful? I mean, Notre Dame is not, the brand is amazing. The fact that they're independent and get that much money for NBC is amazing, but they do not stand a chance against the SEC and Big Ten if they came, hardball on their ass.
Yeah,
No chance. What are they going to do?
You're right. You're right. They're as strong as an individual brand as anybody, but nobody's stronger than the entirety of college football.
None.
Here is Marcus. So this was later in the press conference. Here's James Franklin seemingly having some fun, kind of making some jokes about Marcus Freeman here. But I want you to look at Freeman's face and, well, tell me if this is just, all fun or a bit foul here from Franklin.
I'm looking over here at Marcus. And how old are you now, Marcus? 38. I mean, look at the hairline on this guy.
38?
Yeah. Envious of his hairline in a lot of ways. But Marcus has done a phenomenal job. And I'm looking over here at Marcus.
How old are you now, Marcus?
38?
Yeah, he's 38. I know. But look, I feel like when he asks him his age, this face right here, Marcus is a little like, not this fucking shit again. Like, I get it. I'm young, whatever. What are you gonna big dog me? Like, how old are you?
I feel like this whole thing is, we haven't seen much of him talking, but is this Franklin trying to intimidate this whole time?
So that's kind of my question, because my initial instinct is like, whatever. That's just good fun. That is funny. And Franklin works a room. Marcus Freeman's way more reserved. This kind of all makes sense. But you talk to enough NFL guys like you, Hess's reaction, like the real alpha guys, and I understand this as well, seem to think that, this might get to Freeman a little bit here. That maybe this is a little bit of Franklin playing big dog.
I mean, I would be fucking pissed off if I was him. Like, dude, just you got to break it. You brought up the whole where you don't deserve to be independent. We need to join a league. Kind of, we talked about it. Deserve to be here, not deserve to be here. Now you're going to bring up I'm some young up and coming guy that maybe first time at the big boy table. Can I handle all that other bullshit? Implying that no. I deserve to be here just as much as you, big guy. I just beat Georgia last week. You've played Boise State and fucking SMU. So shut up.
So here we arrive again at the most interesting element of this matchup, which is I think Penn State looks to have the advantages on paper, but has not looked as good in the playoff. Whereas Notre Dame looks like they are in some ways being held together with popsicle sticks and hot glue.
Why does it seem like that?
Because everybody's hurt.
Crazy.
They've lost 5 starters to injury this season. They lost maybe the best cornerback in the nation in Benjamin Morrison halfway through. Against Indiana, they lost their top sacker, defensive tackle Riley Mills. They lost their 2 best pass rushers, or that what they call the Viper position, earlier in the season. They lost their center, Ashton Craig. Remember, before the season even started, Charles Jagusa, their starting tackle, who they were really banking on, he ends up getting hurt. He actually came back for the Sugar Bowl. I'd forgotten about that. So he is back. That's big. But no, now you got Jeremiah Love constantly dealing with injury all week long. Notre Dame, as good as they are, as incredible as they look, they're injured to all hell. And guess what the latest is? According to Tyler
flu.
Yes, Tyler Horka covers the team for On 3. He says, quote, been told the flu is going around the Notre Dame locker room. Those who have it bad. But it sounds like it's mostly backups and special teams players, still something to monitor going into the game tonight. If they have what my wife just had, which I've heard of a few people having around here, it didn't come up as the flu, didn't come up as COVID or anything, but it is fucking knocking people out.
Oh, yeah. It was here. My sister's family had it.
Borderline walking pneumonia type shit. People see me. At one point, I almost drove my wife to the hospital in the middle of the night because for 10 minutes straight, she was breathing in and coughing out and wheezing in. I was having a panic attack thinking she was going to die. I was causing her to have panic attack. I got crazy. But the point is, Penn State appears to be the better team, but Notre Dame has played better. Will that stay true tonight?
Oh, I mean, I feel like Notre Dame is like the underdog story.
You got to chill with all this shit, dude. Sorry, I'm putting you in timeout. Go ahead.
I had a comment from Jack earlier in the show that I was going to answer, but if he's going to be a bad boy, then we're not going to.
I know. I thought he was being great. Now he's like so hung. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
We're not going to get into it. It just feels like all this, the press conference, the injuries, everything that Notre Dame. Do they not feel like the underdog in this football game? But yet Vegas has them still as a 1-point favorite.
Yeah. I mean, well, my question to you is, should they be the underdog? Because again, on paper, like Drew Allen,
I think Penn State's a better football team. So, like, I would say yes. I think Penn State. I picked Penn State to win. I think Penn State offensively is better. I think both defenses are elite. You'd maybe give the edge to Penn State because of the fact that they are healthier. Like, where is Notre Dame better than Penn State? Like, name a position.
I know. Well,
name a position.
Yeah.
I can't.
So what does that mean then? Are they just better coached? I mean, I think the defenses are basically a wash.
That's what I'm saying. The defenses are a wash. I'd give
secondary.
Drew Aller.
They're better in the secondary, even without Morrison, right? Maybe D line with Howard Cross, but then you got Abdul Carter and company from State and Rojas.
I don't know O-line, maybe, but like I don't know. To me, the majority of the roster feels like Penn State's better.
Yeah. So maybe it is coaching then. Like, so if James Franklin blows this one, well, then when are you going to get another opportunity?
I still think the fact that Franklin got to the Final Four, you won 2 playoff games, you won a home playoff game, you made it to the Big Ten championship game. I mean, if you're a Penn State fan and you complain if you lose to Notre Dame, who just beat Georgia, you're irrational, completely irrational. I think this is an incredible season for Penn State. In a very good match. And I go through it like, okay,
it's funny.
I think Penn State's a better roster.
I kind of think it's the exact same season they've been having, just with a fortuitous playoff draw. Like I get, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, that's a bad year.
But they made the Big Ten. They made the Big Ten championship though. When's the last time they did that?
Yeah, but not by their own lifting. It took a wild upset, a 20+ point upset of a game that they were not involved in to create it. Look, I'm not here to overly hate on Penn State. Like
I don't know. That first playoff game was so dominant, and I know it was SMU, but like you can't tell me as a Penn State fan, you're not going to puff your chest up a little bit that you had a home playoff game in which you dominated in your stadium and feel like it's not turning in the right direction.
Look, I think any of the Penn State teams the last 5 years would have smashed SMU. I think,
but you still didn't.
I don't want to be too much of a dick here because I do agree with you. I know you make a Big Ten championship, you make the playoff, you win the 2 playoff games, big time, but like you still ain't beat a top 5 team, and that's the whole thing with James Franklin.
Yeah,
1-14, 1-16, whatever it is against the top 5. So like that's ultimately what this Notre Dame game does boil down to. This is the actual inflection point of, is this a step forward for Penn State, or is this the same Penn State just with like I said, a friendly draw in a new playoff setting?
And I'll say this about when I break down the position groups, it's not a big gap. While I do favor Penn State in the majority of the positions, offensively, defensively, it's still close. Like this is gonna be a close football game. This is by far more chances than not going to be a closer football game than what we'll witness tomorrow night. But I mean, what gives you confidence in Notre Dame besides the fact that they've played a harder playoff schedule than Penn State?
No, that's why
it. Just you nothing like you don't care that you believe that Penn State's more talented. You just think the fact that they've a harder road.
I think the gap is small enough as to be negligible.
Okay,
I do. It's the same way I said about Georgia. It's the exact same thing. I tried to tell y'all that they had as much frontline starting talent as Georgia did, except for a bit of an advantage for Georgia. Georgia had 3 first-rounders on the defense.
Yep.
Notre Dame didn't have that necessarily. They don't maybe have but I mean, when I look at the elements that Penn State has that they don't really, Tyler Warren is the only thing that feels like a big gap. Like there is no, like even with a Singleton and Allen, okay, you got Price and Love. And I think Love's helped.
But what is Love going to look like?
I think I've read a lot about it and it could be getting tricked, but I think he's going to be good to go. Maybe I'm wrong. Ryan Leonard and Drew Aller. I think Aller's better. Yes, but Leonard's also a gamer. Doesn't make mistakes.
He is a gamer.
Well,
he has made mistakes lately, but yes.
Yeah, lately. Exactly. I mean, what have you done? That's all that matters. He made mistakes like the Northern Illinois.
I agree. I mean, it's the same thing with Ohio State. What have you done for me lately? And lately they've just dominated.
So that's why it's like, yes, I feel like Penn State looks better on paper, but it's a negligible gap. And yes, like as you said, Notre Dame looked fucking awesome against Indiana and Georgia, two of the stronger playoff opponents out there, I believe.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the only teams that have looked better has been Ohio State and beating Tennessee and Oregon. So
I still worry with a day and a half less of.
Also, does Penn State's butthole not get tight in big games? I mean, you really do see it, dude.
But I will say this. I think that Drew Aller may be the best quarterback they've had in Franklin's time there at Penn State. And what he's done in big time games this year gives me the confidence. Like go back to even like the USC game, and he had a couple turnovers early.
Opportunity though.
I think they have all year though. Besides, I think maybe I have to remember what game, that they maybe didn't really put the ball in his hands. But I think the majority of the season they have trusted him to go out there and be the superstar. Like I've seen them say, Drew, push the ball vertically down the field, and he gets cost him a couple turnovers at times, being a little bit greedy. But I think overall, you've seen the maturity of that quarterback. You've seen, how I'm reading things today that if Drew comes out, he'd be the number 3 quarterback taken the draft. And that's something I said a week ago. I think he's good.
To be clear, he is in a world where Josh Allen exists, Aller is an NFL front office's dream because he's had a pretty good college career. Not like overwhelmingly statistically good, but really, really good thus far. And he's fucking giant and he can run and he's durable.
Got a big arm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like Josh Allen
is like
way more college success than Josh Allen actually had.
So you know this, and I hate to always bring it back to the quarterback spot, but when you have a quarterback that is playing at a high level that you have confidence in, then it's a different team. It's a different feel to me than years past for Penn State. But I have not believed in Penn State's quarterbacks in years past. I do believe in Drew this year.
I still almost feel that they underachieved in that Boise game and that they underachieved in that.
I think they missed a lot of opportunities. I think they were playing with their food a little bit.
It's underachieving. Yeah. Look, maybe I'm
wrong. 31-14. So if that's underachieving, 31-14, you win by 17 points.
So maybe I'll be proven wrong. I'm just talking about how the game felt and how it flowed.
I agree.
I think it is my Notre Dame pick is just a bit of a gut feeling that they looked so dominant. Everybody's so on task, so well coached these first 2 games. They're going to carry it over into this Penn State game and out execute Penn State, even if Penn State maybe has a bit of a talent advantage in some spots. But maybe I'm wrong. I will say this: Marcus Freeman definitely motivated to do so now after those press conferences.
I'm kind of secretly rooting for Notre Dame a little bit. I mean, I feel like they're like the fan favorite heading into this. Like the nation wants Notre Dame.
There is something about the Notre Dame whole being greater than the sum of its parts that I do really appreciate. As many superstars as they have, guys like Howard Cross, they still don't have like home-to-home name recognition. And there's no superstar core or there's no superstar offensive players really at all.
Is it a brand thing? Is it a brand thing to me as well, though?
Well, the brand thing both ways, though, right? Because a lot of people hate Notre Dame because of the brand, especially down here.
But like from a national championship perspective, Notre Dame, the national championship seems sexier than Penn State.
Well, okay, so this kind of dovetails something I want to talk about the other day, and that was a great piece by Ryan McGee for ESPN, where he's kind of pointing out that, like, look, whatever school does manage to win it, it's going to be a massive deal for that school. And here's the excerpt from the start of the article. In revenge. Whichever of these words you revere most, they all relate as the college football playoff rolls into the reckoning that is this week's semifinals. A quartet of stories that are wildly varied, but at their core, essentially the same. And you run down the list. Here's Ohio State, right? 4 years since you beat Michigan, 4 years since the Big Ten championship, a decade since the national championship. You have a chance to make that all go away like that. a get out of jail free card, old fucking golden ticket for Ryan Day. You look at Texas. Aaron, how many national championships do you think Texas has won in their history?
4.
Arguably. When do you think?
Oh, is that right?
Well, no, it's kind of like 3.5 more like.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I was in the ballpark. Hell yeah.
When do you think their last national championship before 2005 was?
80s? 70s?
1970. And that was a half championship, a year in which they were named co-champions. In fact, you want to talk about Texas being a brand that top 5 in wins, but has not had modern championship success. They won in 63. They won in 69. And then they got a half win in 70. And then there's nothing till 05. What?
What's a half?
They were 3rd in the AP poll, 1 in the coaches poll. They finished 10-1. They lost in the Cotton Bowl that year, but they still got named co-champions. I don't really grant them the rank of champions for that.
I would say no.
But I mean, think about that. Okay, so take that out. 3 natties in school history, 1 in 2005, and then you're back to 70 and 69. There's not a lot of championship success for the Longhorns, despite being one of the most legendary programs of all time.
Wild to think about.
I'm shocked.
I think of like Texas as one of the not just a blue book, but like one of the biggest brands in college football.
Yes, I agree.
Wow.
Notre Dame hasn't won a championship, Aaron, since before me and you were born in 1988. Last time they were in a natty, they got fucking their ass kicked 12 years ago by Bama 42-14. They got their ass kicked in the semifinals. Like, this would be healing for Notre Dame. And especially healing for Notre Dame, given what Brian Kelly tried to gaslight them into believing a couple of years ago. It's not a me problem. It's a you problem. You're not that good. I can't win here. I'm championship coach. You're not a championship program. Well, Notre Dame can prove that all wrong. And then you look at Penn State. How about this for a little history factoid? Penn State, how many national titles do you think they won?
1.
2. Again, nice ballpark. But here's what's crazy.
What's going to be many? I was almost at 0. So
they got 2 in 82 and 86. But here's what's crazy. They've had 13 undefeated seasons. Joe Pa had 5 undefeated years in which they were not given titles. How about this? In 1994, and because we used to just tell you who the champion was. Everybody wants to shit on the fucking tournament. You want to know why the tournament matters? Listen to this shit. In 1944, Joe Pa had a team that went undefeated. They had 2 Heisman finalists. They had 15 draft picks. They won the Big Ten, and they stomped Oregon in the Rose Bowl, and they just voted them second behind Nebraska. Sorry. 2 Heisman finalists, undefeated, Rose Bowl winner. Nope, sorry.
What the? Who did Nebraska play the Natty?
I don't know. Well, it must not have been the Natty. It just must have been a big bowl game where they had conference tie-ins and then they choose a champion, right? I mean, so it's that's why the tournament's good, okay? But for Penn State, it's been since 1986 for a title. So that's why I love this Final Four is you have 4 fan bases that have suffered a lot of long-term pain. Only 1, and you don't have to deal with Kirby Smart. You don't have to deal with Nick Saban. There's no Alabama. There's no Georgia. There's no Clemson. None of the modern powers. Not even like LSU on a good year, right? Yep. No, the field is wide open.
No Michigan who's been dominant the past 3 years. None of that.
Yes, exactly. No Michigan.
Yep.
One of these coaches is going to heal their fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Who will it be?
Ohio State.
Probably.
And they're the ones that need the least healing of all 4.
That's true.
They need like to say like, oh, we haven't won a national championship in a decade, and we're like poo-pooing them. When the other 3 seem a lot more desperate, and this would mean a lot more to them.
Well, yeah, yes. But also, I mean, Ohio State's been going through it a bit here as of late.
Yeah, as of late, 3 years. I'm sorry you haven't beaten Michigan in 4 years. That the world is crumbling before you. But to say that Texas and for that brand to only have 3, for Notre Dame to not win since '88, for Penn State to only have 2. It pales in comparison to what Ohio State has been able to accomplish for the past 2 decades. Ohio State's been one of the premier teams in college football for 20 years now.
What do they have to show for it, though?
2 natties?
1 natty, right? Oh, you're counting Maurice Clarett and everything back in the day. That's true. I mean, Aaron, we're getting old, bro.
I know.
That's a long time ago now. I do remember that game. They beat Miami. I think it was like a
2
controversial PI, maybe in overtime or something at some point.
I mean, Texas went through some dark stuff from like 2010
Yeah.
through 20 was some dark years for Texas.
I mean,
For
bro,
the whole
think about it.
decade.
After the 05 championship, you win the Big 12 in 09, but then Alabama kicks your ass in the championship. You don't win it again until 2023, and you kind of sucked for a lot of those 14 years. It's one of the reasons why I think SEC fans are fed up with some Texas fans is they're kind of walking around with this unearned bluster of, I told you the SEC was going to be easy. When it's like, no, we all know if you had been here any time over the last 15 years, you would have been dog shit.
Yes.
Just craftily timed it out to where you join the conference at the perfect time when money can get involved and you finally got the head coach. Like, credit to you, it all timed out well, and life,
That's all. That's life timing.
Yes, Malcolm Gladwell talks about that, right?
Yep.
Like, you can't invent the computer unless you're born or the personal computer, unless you're born in the early 70s. And that's the only way that the avenue is even open to you. So that same way, yeah, Texas timed this thing out perfectly. I'm excited, man. Give me a final prediction for tonight, and we're going live afterwards, right?
Yeah, we'll go live after both games. So we'll go live tonight, as long as you can go live tomorrow night. But we ain't going to be doing shit besides watching the football game, preparing for snow days. I think final prediction tonight. I think Penn State wins 20-13.
I'm going to go Notre Dame 2017.
Okay.
It is crazy. I think the under, somebody was saying earlier, the under is like 44 or something.
Smash that under.
Wild. Hey guys,
it did start with Garrett Gilbert, Texas. You know what they did start with? They didn't fucking offer me.
Is that what it was? Texas
Yeah,
didn't offer you, and that's
they took Garrett instead of me.
Oh man, they didn't offer me either. What does that mean?
That's what that means. That's why they went down for the decade. They could have had T and Murray. They're in fucking Austin.
I would have never gone, but
I would have.
I could have at least offered me. You would have.
Dude, I had Texas posters in my room. I had Texas jerseys.
Oh wow,
big Texas fan. Big Texas fan.
I mean, Jake Hester had a Longhorn tattoo at a time.
Did he?
In high school? Yeah, he had to get it covered up. Finally, LSU came off, and he was like, "Oh, okay, cool, I'm in." Apparently, Saban went to watch somebody else at Evangel practice, and then he was like, "Who's the little short, powerful white guy? He looks like he could maybe play."
Billy Boy, I'm all dogs now. Okay, simmer down. Okay, like, sorry that I didn't grow up loving Georgia football. I never watched Georgia football. Like, that's just the
horny Aaron. Always been a Longhorn at heart, hasn't he? That's what I call him. Old UT of Aaron. You gotta be careful about this Aaron guy, guys. A lot of conflicting loyalties,
no conflicting
One day
loyalties.
Texas, the next day
No
it's Florida. Next thing you know, it's gonna be Tampa, Florida. Is he a Gator? I've heard it. I've heard some people say it.
Oh, the amount of shit that I read and watched last night after his speech on Tuesday.
Are you talking about Donald Trump?
Yes. Oh my God.
Man, I am just along for the ride.
Oh my God.
I don't know what the fuck is going on in the world. I'm just for the ride.
Well, I don't either. My wife was mad at me. She's like, "You're not paying attention to any of this shit." I was like, "Well, you're not going to see me tonight. I'm going to go in my office, do a couple things. One of them being doing some research." So I was just watching YouTube videos, reading articles till about 11:30 last night to better educate myself what the hell's going on.
As a fan of history, I think I'm just way too cynical about the complete lack of impact that anything I do as an individual matters.
Yeah.
And so it just causes me to become almost completely politically apathetic, even though I have my thoughts, and every now and then I get fired up to speak on them. But generally, I just keep to myself.
I feel like my wife wants to debate me on shit. I'm like, I really don't give a shit. I'm sorry. So I'm going to try to be better, though. I'm going to try to be better.
To argue.
I don't see. I'm not a very.
I used to do that though. My first radio job was as much politics as it was sports, and I'll tell you what, being a liberal leaning radio host in New Orleans is exhausting. I mean, just the daily toxicity and fights. And it was around the 2016 election when I was doing it, the 2050 to the rise of all of this. And so when I came back to Baton Rouge, I was like, okay, I'm just going sports and dick jokes.
Yes.
Which is I can't take it anymore. I'm
much better.
So tired. You know what? And now we have snaps. And I love snaps. And that's why I want to say a massive thank you to our friends at Axia Time. Okay.
Woo, look at that. Watch.
Look at this. So, of course, Axia Time, that's AXIA, AxiaTime.com. We tell you about them all the time. We showed you on a live stream our unboxing of our beautiful watches that they gave us. Remember, they are the official timepiece of the college football playoff and the Heisman Trophy. And here are your playoff timepieces with some beautiful new high-res photos. If you are a Texas fan, you probably got money. And what better way to commemorate this playoff run than to get you one of these watches? And remember, guys, I've done an awful job of talking about this, but if you use the code SNAPS10 at checkout, you get 10% off. So use code SNAPS10, you get 10% off. Remember, if your team wins a national championship, it gets upgraded to a championship watch for free. But I mean, look at the detail work.
I like the
I like them all, man. I mean, look how nice the Notre Dame one looks.
Notre Dame one.
And this ain't no Apple Watch bullshit. Okay. These are Swiss made watches, heirloom quality. And yes, they're expensive, but that's because they stand the test of time and they tell so much more than time. These are about stories. These are about memories. These are about you always remember the first time that your favorite team made the first 12-team playoff. If you know you want to commemorate Oregon's incredible undefeated Big Ten year, here you go. If you know someone, Boise making the first ever 12-team playoff, if you know someone who loves one of these schools and you're looking for the perfect gift idea, AxiaTime.com, official timepiece of the college football playoff. Use the code SNAPS10 at checkout. That's SNAPS10 for any college football playoff watch. And we will continue to have more just school watches in the future. And that deal is good. The SNAPS10 for 11 more days through January 20th, 2025. So go operate now. But again, look, so on the back here, you can't see it, but underneath
I like the dial. Go back up to the dial.
You can see all of the clockwork on there. It's absolutely fascinating. Look at the little college football playoff logo on the dial. I mean, why would, if you were an Indiana fan or knew an Indiana fan, or why would you not get one of these to commemorate this year? I mean, they're just beautiful. Look at the embossed playoff logos on the faces there. It's a stunning amount of detail. God, those Notre Dame ones do look good. You know what it is? Notre Dame's colors just look good when they're good.
Yeah, it's just
that
classy.
navy and that burnished gold is so
classy.
hard to beat.
Yep.
So hard to beat. And these are watches that, look, you can go like colored band and wear them for like a tailgate day. You can also slap this on and then you wear them with a suit and they look really nice. So shout out Axia. We love you. AXIA Time, AXIAtime.com.
Final predictions for the game tomorrow night, because we're not going to do a show before. I guess we're doing the live tonight, but
is Severance season 2 out?
Do
you know?
I don't know.
Because Severance season 1 was awesome, and I'm very excited for to finally watch Severance.
I remember Severance. I feel like I've watched it.
It's the one with Adam Scott, Apple TV. They work in that place where it's like you go to sleep.
Oh yeah. You go in the elevator, you go up, and
you're like not asleep, but you're working. I actually need to rewatch
I don't know if we ever finished it. It got a little slow for us.
Oh, bro, it finished awesome.
Did it? Okay.
Severance season 1 was an absolute banger. Certified 100% banger in my book.
Okay. It's definitely a season 2.
Chad Donnerschwans says, imagine being a grown-ass man describing yourself as left-leaning. For fuck's sake, there's no testosterone in this show. Chad, it's people like you, and I know there's just no point in what I'm about to say. And the internet, like, It's the internet, of course. People are going to talk shit. There's no point in getting mad online. But sometimes it's people like you. I just wish I could see you in real life.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't want to put my hands on you. I don't want to do anything physical. I just want to watch you wilt as you realize how fucking big I am compared to you. And how I would love for you to try to keep that same energy when you're staring me down. Like it's one of my sick fantasies that I deal with on the internet all the time.
Oh.
Like I know there's no point in being mad.
Especially saying that like you're like this giant man is low T. Like
that's what I'm saying, bro. Like
no, not about that.
That's it. Yeah, and I'll have my Chapel Roan concert tee on.
Yes.
Okay. So my
pink pony in the background.
I love this, dude. Love this shirt. All right.
See you all tonight.
Drop a pin, says Chad. Fuck yeah. Bring it. Is there any okay. Just because we're never going to get to all the stuff that I had done that I was planning on doing this week. How do you feel about your guys, the Branch Bros, joining Georgia? Even though Zachariah Branch literally has not done shit, but for 2 years, everybody keeps telling me how awesome he is. How much does this matter that the Branch Bros are joining?
I mean, listen, better than what we had this year. He only had 4 drops, so that's an improvement. 4 drops this season, so
he only had 10 catches. I'm just kidding. I know he had more than 10 catches. How many did he get?
I think like 40, mid 40s. I want to say somewhere right there. Yeah. And they've been a decent year. Really good in the special team spot. Like punt returns are, he's not.
Yes, that is true. I should be fair. He's a objectively great returner.
Great returner.
But he just keeps being painted as this incredible weapon.
I agree.
And the stats just do not line up with it.
See, I did a show last night with my boy TK about the receivers, and I was just like, I've done this for 2 years now. My co-host TBob gives me shit. I'm not going to get my hopes up until midway through the season and see if they're good or not. Like, not until then. Noah Thomas, though, from A&M, I do like him. 6'6", big receiver. I was talking with our boy last night, Billy Lucci, about him, and gave some pretty good compliments. So I do like that addition on the outside.
I mean, there's got to be Georgia's got to figure it out eventually. There's no way you can have so much NFL talent at every other position and you just can't crack receiver. It doesn't make any sense.
Zero. I'm with you. I think the big question now is like who's
Cortez Hankton?
Last year, you had the supposed quarterback in Carson. You thought you had the receivers. You didn't have the receivers. Next year, you feel like you are going to have the receivers with these guys in the portal. And plus, I think what they got, and these are freshmen, but they have a 5-star receiver commit that's already signed and 3 4-star receivers signed. So you're bringing in a lot of talent at the receiving position.
But haven't you done that? Like, it's not like you've been getting bad receiver recruits anyway, right?
No, I agree with that. But I think this is they haven't gotten a 5-star since George Pickens. So I think this is the excitement. Like, you can get guys next year, but do you have the quarterback next year? That's going to be the dilemma now. I don't know if they have the quarterback.
What do you mean? You got Gunnar Stockton. Quarterback in the entire SEC was down this year. I'm going to be fascinated to see who ends up being the good quarterbacks in the league next year.
What do you mean? There's going to be a ton of good quarterbacks in the league next year.
No, I know, but I'm going to be fascinated to see who ends up being the best. I mean, we can't predict. We were so off in our predictions this year. We thought
these guys are first-year starters.
No, not Beck and Quinn, not Brady Cook, not Jalen Milroe. All these guys that we thought were going to be incredible were all just I
agree with all that. Yes, I do. But the top tier guys were mostly new, besides Jackson, which we had Jackson as a top tier.
No, I know. I mean, like, I think Lagway should be awesome next year. Sellers should be awesome next year.
Yeah.
Garrett should be awesome next year.
Up there, but still his first year starting. No, they're going to be deep next year. It's going to be good quarterback.
Dude, I just looked up your size, 6'4", 215. I'm 6'2", 225, single-digit body fat. Come the fuck at me, bro.
Oh, I love this.
I wish, bro. I wish I was 215. I ain't seen 215 since, 9th grade, maybe. maybe like 10th grade sometime. Maybe
Each
like
one of
I was about 5.
TBob's calves combined together about 215. Okay.
I'm about 265, 270 right now. I cannot get under 265.
You guys start training for a marathon like me. Come on.
I was looking into Disney half marathons. I'm not running full marathon, bro. I just have no desire to.
Yeah.
Like it sounds.
I got to go do a 7-miler this on Saturday.
It's like a cash 7 miles.
It's a casual 7 miles.
You plan it for a Saturday. It's kind of fun though. You're gonna feel incredible afterwards, right? Like
Well, it was 3
the-
yesterday, or
Yeah.
3 Tuesday, 3 yesterday, 3 today. So I got to go do 3 after this, and then 7 on Saturday. The next week I think it's 3, 3,
What
3. Then 8.
pace do you run? What pace are you running that on?
Like my 3s,
Yeah.
about 8:45.
God, see, it's so crazy, man. Because the last couple of years I got into running, and I'm just fucking slow. Like I'm just not good at long distance run. Like if I'm pushing myself, it's a 10-minute mile. Like I'm talking like 160 heart rate.
See,
It's a
our goal
10-minute
is to get
mile.
somewhere
What's your
around
heart rate when you're doing an 8:45?
about 160, 170.
Okay.
Yeah. Our goal is to get about 3:45 on the marathon.
3 hours, 45 minutes. What is that per mile?
I want to say that's somewhere around 9. Like our goal is to be somewhere hovering around 9.
That's crazy to me. The only way I could do it is if I accepted like 12-minute miles and I just went like one foot in front of the other and just kinda, like basically like walk jogged it the entire time and just focused that as long as I can, as long as whatever that I'm just gonna keep going 1 foot and just try to mentally through it. Good luck though, man.
Thank you. All right. We'll see y'all tonight. Post game. Peace.
Later, guys. Shout out Oxia, like, subscribe, all that good stuff.